Number one, you need to love yourself, man. And you need to love your own dreams. I told Elena when we got together, I said, look, I'll do anything for you. Anything, literally anything, except one thing. I will not give up my dreams, okay? If I am demanded to water down my dreams, give up my dreams, alter my dreams to be with you, I will not do it, okay? Because I believe that if I give up on my dreams, which most people do, they'll give up on everybody in their lives. And that's the way it is today. It's my dreams first, Elena, our marriage, and then the kids.
Setting that expectation in the beginning.
Yeah. Being a strong person that says, hey, I'm going for what I want. And I think she really trusted that, hey, this dude, this guy's who he says he is.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, hustle like you are broke.
How many in your room are broke right now? You're broke. You're like just dead broke. Like if I went and banged on your credit card, it would scream and call the police. No, alert 911, call them out right now. This cannot be used again. That's fine, dude, that's fine. You still need to have your dreams. You need to start dreaming now. How old are you, dude? 22 years old. You got any money at all? But he's got a little diamond in his ear, right here. He ain't got any money, but he's like, look at this shit. I'm shining. Huh? I'm shining. Come here, man. Yeah, come here, man. Come here. I'm shining. I got a little cubic. Come on up here, man. 22 years old, man. 22 years old. You know what I was doing every day? 22 years old. What do you weigh, man? How much you weigh? Oh, you got one in both ears. Look at this. Get a close up. Can you get a close up? Look at that, man. Oh, he's so cool. He's so cool. Look, he looks good too, man. He looks good. Okay, look, how much money do you have to your name?
Probably like 1,000 at the
$1,000 bucks. What? No,
I feel like $1 million though.
Yeah. Either way, bro, you're broke. You agree with that?
Oh yeah.
You're broke. You guys need to admit it. You need to know when you're broke. The man's got $1,000. Right? He goes to jail today. He's broke. So like, but that does not mean you can't dream. So right now, what he's gonna do is his dreams are gonna be like, okay, man, like I just wanna get a $2,000, or I just wanna get some of these, or I wanna get a watch. Dude, that's not the dream, folks. You know, when you were a kid, 12 years old, what do you want? You want a car. I can't wait till I get a car. You don't think about, I'm gonna own a car dealership. You think, I want a car. You don't think, hey man, I'm gonna make a new car that flies, right? See, that's why he ended up with these little cubics. Because his dreams aren't big enough. Get off the stage. Okay, but he's in the right place. He's in the right place, everybody agree?
Rule number 3, aim for financial freedom.
I'm making $2.4 million a year. If I could figure out how to get another $200, that's called value add, VA, value add. If I could figure out how to raise the rent to $200, 531 units. See, that's why the number of units is so important. 531, $106,000 times what? Is what, See, that creates another $1,274,000 of income a year. I'm already making $2.4 million a year. Bam! That traffic jam. Okay? I got more cash flow. I don't have to go work. I don't have to beat stuff up. I don't have to go Uber. You guys are, I'm gonna go Uber. To what? What you go Uber to? You end up with $7. Same energy, folks, same energy. Spend the energy going someplace, getting a vehicle that can actually get you to freedom. I don't want money. This money, I've had this money here the whole time, okay? It ain't gonna do anything. How many got money in the bank right now? It's useless. Money is useless until it is put to use. People earn money and then they spend it. and you're just doing this thing. Comes in, it goes out. You have to have multiple exits on the way out. How do I get out of this deal? I know people that have bought real estate that they're like, it cash flows, but they're like, I can never get rid of this piece of property. It's always going to be a problem for me. Hang me around my neck. But it pays me a little bit of money. Okay? Now, if it's only one unit, folks, and it makes you $500 a month, it's still only $500 a month. Everybody agree? That's why you don't want to go small. You got to figure out how to do it big. If you do it big, if you do it right, if you have the right location, the barriers to entry, if you have the cash flow that you need, if you get good debt on it, I promise you, you will not lose money in this space. Warren Buffett said, don't lose money. Number 2, what? Number 3. Exactly. So when I read that, I'm like, don't lose money, don't lose money, don't lose money. What do I invest in? Oh, invest in something that doesn't lose money. Don't speculate. Don't buy stocks. Like, I don't want to trade a piece of paper for a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper. When you go buy $20 worth of Google stock, what do you get? You get a piece of paper back. It's all made up. The kids steal it anyway. Okay, I want something I can see. Would you agree? Okay, I would rather have that money. I'd rather take this money and say, okay, here's $100. Here's $100. I'm going to take the $100 and I'm going to buy a flip chart. This flip chart is more valuable than that $100. If I use it, everybody agree? Yeah. Okay, so I want you to write this down. Quit saving money. The banks have brainwashed you. Save your money, save your money, save your money, save your money. The Wall Street also did this. Stay liquid, stay liquid, stay liquid. You want liquidity. No, you do not want liquidity. You want to be illiquid and you do not want to save money.
Rule number 4, visualize your dream.
My wealth ultimately is not the money I have, it's the knowledge I have and the belief I have in myself. The same thing for you. But I want to take you on this trip because look, number 1, you got to visualize it. You got to be able to see it in your mind like possibility. Second thing is you got to see it, in the physical universe. You can explain to me what a bougainvillea is. You can explain to me what a beach is. You can explain to me what the gym looks like on the 2nd floor in Cabo San Lucas at this beautiful hotel we're at. But until I visually, physically put an image to the ocean, to the whales, to the sunshine, to the mountains, until I visually see it, it doesn't become real. Third thing you want to do, number 1, see it in your mind. I was doing a call today with Percy Miller, Master P. And he's like, first thing you got to do is see it in your mind. He grew up in extreme poverty in the projects. And he says, Grant, the first thing I had to do was I had to see it in my mind that I could get out. Second thing I had to do was see a picture of it in the physical universe. That's how valuable the internet is today, is that you get to see things that maybe are way outside your price range. You can see the Lambo, the Rolls, the big house, the trip. You can see the possibility of Elon going to Mars, and all of a sudden all those things expand possibilities. So number 1, you got to see it in your mind. 2, you got to see it in the physical universe. And this also includes other people, examples of other people that are doing great things. I'm not just talking about physical manifestation. I'm not talking about stuff. I'm not talking about watches and bracelets and rings and houses and cars. I'm talking about how can you actually manifest something in the real world that you have in your mind? How do you turn an idea into reality? And these things that I'm sharing with you will make it a possibility. When you dig deep on them, though, it's like, okay, well, how do I get closer to people that are doing those things? Because the third thing is you got to get closer to the thing you want. If you want a Gulf Stream, or if you want to solve the water problem on planet Earth, you're going to have to get closer, physically closer, step on, not just see with your eyes in a magazine or on the internet. You need to put your feet in the sand, put your feet on the jet. Now, that might mean that you got to go fuel jets for a while. You got to go work at an aviation company, an airport, and actually fuel them, clean them, wash them. Maybe you got to be a flight attendant on them. Put your feet next to them. Maybe you have to become a pilot. You're going to have to pay the price, though. There's no free lunch here for anybody, including my children. There's no free lunch. There's no way to know what this room feels like, the expansiveness of this room, by looking at it on the internet. The moment you can get in it, it'll become even more real to you. The fourth thing is you got to put your feet in this deal. You got to put your feet in this deal. There's a horse down there. You can visualize a horse. You can see the horse. You got to touch the horse. And the fourth thing, you got to touch the horse. And the fourth thing is you guys got to collaborate with other people, man. You got to get in the room with other people, whether you're serving water. If they don't invite you to sit down, then offer them money to sit down with them. If that doesn't work, offer to serve them to sit down. Okay, this is a story of my life could be wrapped up in these four things right here. Number one, see it in my mind. Number two, see it in the physical universe, like see it in some, not physical, but in metaverse, on the internet, in a magazine, a picture of it. Third, get closer to it. Put your feet on it, on the plane, on the horse, on the beach, in the hotel. If I got to go work there to do it. And the fourth thing is you got to network with people that have stuff. Okay. Again, I spent some time this week with Dame Dash. She's like, look, you got to get close to the action. You got to get with the people that are making the moves. You cannot make the moves from your own neighborhood. Percy Miller told me you cannot make the moves from the projects. You got to move from the projects, not make the moves in the project. Quit working street corners. Quit selling just a product and start hanging out with people that have scaled their ideas into a reality.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, stay curious.
I'm 63 years old. I'll be 64 in March. And, I feel like I'm like 14 years old, man. I'm like, let's roll. Like, let's go. I'm ready to run through walls and, fly and learn new stuff. I'm studying cryptos right now in the metaverse and like what happens and when do I make a play and do I make a play and what is all this? So number one, you have to stay curious. Number one, curious. You have to be curious. When Clubhouse came around, Clubhouse is an audio app if you don't know what that is. A couple of years ago, most of the people in my office, including Jared, was like, man, ain't nothing, there's nothing there. I'm like, oh, there's people there though. There's people there. And what I discovered because I was curious about Clubhouse is not because I was curious about social media. I was curious about people. To me, I get energy from people. And so I've been in rooms where Alan, have y'all met Alan yet? So Alan saw me go in a room one night and he texted me. He's like, what the hell you doing in this room, man? And I said, well, what's up? He's like, get out of this room. And I said, what you worried about? He's like, you're the only white person in the room, and the title is White Entitlement. And he sends me a little sweaty emoji. I said, bro, how am I gonna learn about white entitlement with white people? Like, you gotta be curious, folks. Just because it has nothing to do with you doesn't mean your market's not there. And for me to be able to market to a market means I need to understand how that market thinks. So one of the great benefits of me being curious, particularly about two-way communication on social media, the feedback. I'm not looking for likes and comments. I'm looking for something, some electricity in the moment. What you're talking about, the drive, potential, an idea. Like all my ideas come from, I don't fabricate ideas. Everything you see me do happened. It was happening already in the universe. I don't create anything. I just grab something that's already there. And I grab it out of something I hear. So the Supreme Court today announced that it kicked out the mandate for the vaccine. I'm like, hey man, okay, good. You like it or don't like it. Y'all need to get on one side of that story and start talking to people about it so you gain that audience. You need, I don't want to be political. See, that's stupid, man. There's nothing that raises more money than politics. Nothing. There's nothing. And most of it's just a scam. And everybody knows it. They're like, I'm throwing in. They ain't throwing in for their side. They're throwing in to keep the other side that they're worried about. The point of the story is there's energy there. There's tremendous amounts of energy that you want to tap into.
If you could walk the line and play both of them, that'd be super cool. Very difficult to do that though. So when that came out today, I'm like, good job, man. Like, I got to take a stand on that. Now, will I lose some people? 100%. I don't care who I lose. There's 8 billion people on this planet. I'm worried about who doesn't know me. So the way to protect your brand, is to expand it. That's the only way to protect your brand.
Rule number 6, be the first.
Man, did you hear that the person that won the lottery, I got 2 points to make here. The person that won the lottery is 84 years old. Her name is Gloria McKenzie here in Florida. She'll pay no state taxes on that winning. I keep telling you guys, move to a tax-free state so that your income's not taxed. And hey, if you win the freaking lottery, $380 million freaking dollars, you wouldn't be taxed at 10 or 13%. What are you thinking, man? The second point here is this. This woman would not have won this lottery ticket had it not been for the guy in front of her being so gracious to look at 84 and say, hey, lady, you want to go in front of me? I guess he was worried that she'd die before she could buy the ticket. Okay? Folks, in my book called If You're Not First, You're Last, I basically explain, look, man, if you're first in line, you don't give it up to an 84-year-old. I know that might sound, without compassion and uncaring and not sensitive. Hey, when you're buying a lottery ticket, get in, get out as quick as possible. If you're not first, you're last. In this case, I hope 84 gives this guy a little squeeze of the cheese. Please. Let's find out how gracious 84 is with her 380 to the guy that got out of line to get her in the line to buy the ticket that won the money where she don't pay any state taxes in Florida.
Rule number 7, learn how to sell.
This isn't a magic act. These are basic skills. And basic skills are duplicatable. And the reason most salespeople have such trouble is because for years we have been sales professionals and the gurus have been teaching manipulation tactics. Dodge the question, don't answer, control the customer, the whole neurolinguistics bull. These are gimmicks. We have never hired one person that had a neurolinguistics background that worked for us successfully. So you guys that are in the NLP stuff, I'm just telling you, we've hired hundreds and hundreds of salespeople. I've been with tens of thousands of salespeople. I have never seen one person that got into this neuro bull that was a successful salesperson over long periods of time and did not bring drama to our organization. I don't want drama, dude. I want production. So when he sits a certain way, I don't start thinking about, man, imagine me in a sales presentation. I'm like, I got to be like him, and then now I got to be like her, and now I got to be like him. Guess who you can't be when you're doing that? You, man, what a diss. I want to be me. The power resonates for me, my truth, my authenticity, and my transparency. Okay? So if you can't do that, you can't build a business, and you certainly can't duplicate it. I never ask him to be me. I'm like, hey, bro, when somebody says that the payments are too high, what do you do? What do you say? Well, I'm with you. Everybody try that. No, I didn't say it like that. I said, I'm with you. See, and I'm with you. Hey, man, hey, the price is too high. I knew that before you did. Everybody try that. Okay, see, he gets to be him, but the words will work because all I'm doing is basically agreeing with the customer. This isn't a trick here, okay? This course is, I'm doing a dinner tonight for $25,000 at my house, okay? I think we got 2 slots left. The entire $25,000 goes to the Grant Cardone Foundation. Any of you want to put 25 grand in? Please see one of my people, come have dinner at my house. We'll spend a couple hours over there. The money's going to go to help kids. Some of you in the room immediately say, oh my God, 25 grand. That's a lot of money. Man, I know that. You don't think I know $25,000 is a lot of money? I'm the one that decided what the freaking entry would be. I said, what would be too much? 25 grand. 25 grand would be a lot of damn money.
somebody gonna be like, damn, that's a lot of money. Okay, and the people that it's a lot of money, that think small, that go small and don't wanna help, won't come to my house and have dinner. And the people that are like, dude, I'd go spend 2 hours with that cat, man, for 25 grand to get pictures with him at his new home, with his family, with 8 or 10 other people, and the money's going to charity, and I get to write it off. I get to bang the IRS. Who hates the IRS? Well, this is a chance to give them a good okay? So you see what I'm doing? I'm handling all the objections right now. I understand 25 grand's a lot of money, man. I know what you got to do to earn 25 grand. You got to do crazy stuff to earn 25 grand. And if you keep thinking that, earning 25 grand is always going to be a problem for you. Hopefully for everybody in the room, one day you're going to be able to earn 25,000 every hour.
Rule number 8, invest time and money.
All commitments require investments in time and money. All commitments. You cannot make a commitment without time and money being invested. Time and money has to be invested. You have to invest time and money. If it's not on your schedule, you're not committed. If you don't have money backed by that time on your calendar, if it's not costing you money, or you don't have money deposited right there, you are not committed. Where you have your money is where your personal, spiritual, emotional, physical commitments go. Wherever your money is who you are most committed to. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citibank. You guys, many of you got more money at Wells Fargo than you have invested in your own advertising and marketing. Because you guys are committed to the lie. The big marketing scam of the universe. Save your money. Save your money. What you should do is you should get a good job. First of all, you should avoid borrowing money unless it's for something that we think is good for you. Right? So, first of all, you should not borrow money unless it's one of our credit cards, where we give you points. And one day, you too will be able to stay at a Holiday Inn for free. Where, by the way, the buffets at the kitchen are free. You can eat all you want, not to mention that you're already overweight, but you could go there and eat all you want, for as long as you want, by the way. If you just borrow enough money on this card to buy enough stuff you don't need to pay us back one day if you can, right? And then during the week when you're not borrowing money from us, what you should do is spend your time getting money to pay for the bullshit belt that you bought and put on your credit card that you can't write off, by the way. So this is what Americans are doing. People all around the world spend 40 hours a week running around, hustling. Hey, can I go buy it? Yeah, they get $100. What do they do now? They run over here to the bank, drop off the $100. Then they run back out and do another 40 weeks, pick up $1,000. Man, I had a great week, didn't I? Bang! And then they run over here and drop it off at the bank. These are the good Americans. The bad Americans go pick up $1,000 and go to the club and blow it. The good Americans run around collecting $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. Hustlers, man, hard workers. They get sophisticated. I'm gonna put a little money in the bank over here at Wells Fargo. I'm gonna have a little over here at Citibank. I'm gonna spread this around. I wanna be a slave to many, not a slave to a few. I'm gonna give a little to Bank of America. I'm gonna give a little bit to Citibank. I'm gonna give a little bit to the Wells Fargo. I'm gonna give a little bit to Fidelity and Merrill Lynch. I'm gonna give a little bit to my IRA and my 401k. I'm gonna bust my ass. I'm gonna spend 40 years killing myself to make sure all these institutions have my money, where they pay me nothing for the sake of security. Right? And then you guys look up one day and you're like, where's my money at? It's in all these accounts. By the way, what do those people do with your money when they get it? They call me up. Hey, Mr. Cardone, we got another dummy. Guy he must have spent 160 hours, put together a little bank, extremely disciplined, dumbass. And he saved $100,000 with us. And we'd like to know, Mr. Cardone, if you would like to borrow that money. His money.
Yeah, I sure would. Because we know, Mr. Cardone, that you'll put that money to work. Okay? This guy that gave it to us, all he wants to do is work. I'm like, yeah, send me that money, bro. Send me that money. Okay? And they, by the way, they're not done calling me. They're going to call 9 other people. They're going to take his 100 grand and they're going to say, they're going to lend it out $900,000 of it. And this is the banking system. And that is debt, by the way. That US dollar. Okay? They're basically multiplying money. If the bank doesn't keep it, why do you spend all your time giving it to them to keep for you?
Rule number 9, always be prepared.
You have to prepare for inflation hitting you. And look, I just want to give you a heads up on this thing. It's happening right now. I believe we're already in a recession, not to be a doomsday guy, because I think that there's ways for you to take advantage of this. But I just passed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shops and nobody's in them. So the American consumer has like $18 trillion between cash accounts and money markets. You can't get negative right now when you see the bad news. This is an opportunity for you and your family to actually expand, not contract. So you're going to see bad news in the headlines everywhere. Once the politicians start allowing the mass media to actually distribute the bad news, and we're not talking about Ukraine and COVID, we're not talking about abortion rulings, because all that is just distraction for the bigger problem, which is the economy. The economy is problematic, okay? You got the Fed pushing interest rates, 0.5 point yesterday. There was a rebound in the stock market. This morning I wake up, the stock market rolls over by 1,000 points, okay? There's going to be blood in the market. So I'm going to do a training on this. I'm going to give you a few tips right now, but I'm going to give you a link to a training for those of you who actually want to do something about this and not just hear the bad news and be woken up. First thing is you got to wake up. You got to wake up to what's happening. You got to know that, hey, what do I do now? What do I do if this happens? 1, do not buy into the bad news. Okay. 2, you got to expand into the opportunity, and it's very, very difficult to do. You've heard of wealthy people doing this before, how they take advantage of situations. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do that, whether you have cash or no, you don't have cash, whether you have credit or don't have credit. Because during times of contraction, what happens is, for instance, there's 32 million small businesses in America. Many of you are going out trying to start a new business where what you ought to do is just kind of slide sideways and go buy one, the neighbor next door to you. I mean, from laundromats to plumbers to internet businesses to coaching businesses, you name it, chiropractors, dentists, like in every sector that you're involved in right now in your business or your interest or your passion, I'll promise you there are thousands, not 1 or 2, but thousands of small businesses like yours that are similar to your passion, that would feed your passion, that already have branding, already have marketing built in, already have a name, already have a location, already have revenue, already have credit lines that you can literally just slide into. Okay, but you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that if all you're doing is buying into bad news. So number 1, you can't buy into the bad news, because remember, all bad news, sooner or later, is beat out by the need to survive and the economy to go on. The economy will always go on, okay? Not just here in America, but around the world. Always, 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 we always get on the other side of bad news. So the first thing to do is you got to keep your head out of the garbage dump. You got to stay positive. And trust me, when it goes negative, it is not easy to stay positive. People are always like, oh yeah, I can stay positive on my own. Probably not, because you're not going to be on your own. You're going to be surrounded by bad news everywhere. So number 2, you got to think about how do you expand despite the fact that you don't have money and you don't have credit, or you do have money and you do have credit, but you don't want to use either one because you're terrified, and you will be. The third thing you have to figure out to do, okay, is exactly what sectors will survive long term. What sectors are going to win through contractions? Because what happens in a contraction, what happens is weak businesses get squeezed out, weak names get squeezed out, okay? Weak operators get squeezed out, and the strong come in and take over that. Either the technology takes over and disrupts the space, or a person, typically a person or an operator comes in and then scales that business. Now, what I'm going to look to do here in the next couple of years is actually accelerate my expansion. Accelerate my expansion because I know how to operate. I know the 4 things you have to do in a business to make a business successful. There's only 4 things you must do to keep a business, 1, profitable, 2, expanding, and 3, flourishing. There's 4 things and only 4 things, okay? I don't have time right now because I'm with my family, but when you click the link below, what I'll do is I'll give you a free training on those 4 things that you have to do. Look, you'll get through this. I promise you, you're going to get through this. The question is, you're going to get through it, and you're going to do great. You're going to flourish and prosper. You're going to be like these businesses, waiting for traffic.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is never give up on your targets.
How do you get through stuff? You got to have targets. The thing that probably gets me through everything is this. Where am I going? You know, what is the target? I can do anything for a short period of time if it gets me to a target significant enough to change and improve the quality of my life. I can do almost anything as long as the target's big enough and changes my life and the lives of other people. If you ask me to change a flat, I'm like, bro, I ain't changing a flat. I don't know how to change a flat. I'll tear the car apart just finding the little thing in the back. So I tried, the last time I worked on a car, I was 16 years old. I tried to change a starter in a 1970 Ford Maverick. Took me 4 days. And it should take like 12 minutes because I don't know what I'm doing. So, you know, you need a target that is, you know, big enough to change the quality of your life. I need a target big enough to change the quality of my life. Otherwise, everything that pops up in my life will become a distraction to my life. So COVID hit, bang, man, I just got more excited. I'm like, okay, nobody's stopping me from this target. When the government tells me I have to force a vaccine on the people that work for me, I get more resilient on my position. And that's got nothing to do with the vaccine. It's got something to do with people forcing me. Like you cannot, suppression never works, folks. For people that are alive and committed to a target, suppression is fuel. The attempt to suppress or stop creates the greatness of who you are. Diamonds are made under pressure. So these moments that are tough, like, is it really a big event? Is it 1.5 years of your kid's life? Where's the target? Because you're looking in the past right now. If I'm on the past, it's because I lost my target.
One of the things that, to me, is the most difficult thing in my entire career is becoming a top producer. Because the moment you become a top producer, you become susceptible to thinking you have the life. I grew up in a little town in Louisiana, a little small town, about 60,000 people. You probably hear the accent. And I grew up in a middle class family. My dad died when I was 10 years old. My mother raised us. And my mother constantly told me how proud I should be of myself. How many of you got a mother like that? You should be so proud of yourself, okay? Every time, my mom was my best friend, and every time I would have a success, it didn't matter whether I was 18 years old or 48 years old. Anytime I had a success, she was the first person I called. I wouldn't call my girlfriend, wouldn't call my wife, wouldn't call any of the people that were closest to me. I'd call my mom and say, Mom, you'd never believe I just bought a real estate deal. I started this company. I bought my first real estate deal. It's 38 units. It's $4 million. And she'd be like, that's awesome. I love you just the way you are. And I'm like, okay, thanks. She told me that 1,000 times. How many of you had a parent tell you, I love you? That's great. You made 160 grand last year. But I love you just the way you are. How many hear that? Okay, that's right out of the 10X rule. I don't know if you know that. That's right out of the 4 actions. Anybody know what action it is? Average, I'm doing well. Okay, there's 4 levels of action. Number 1 is I do nothing.
if I rewrote this book, I would take that out. That's actually impossible. To do nothing at all is impossible. Try doing it right now. To do nothing means you had to make a decision to do something and not do it. This is actually not true. I wouldn't put it in the book if I rewrote it. The second level of action is to retreat. This is what most people do, by the way. How many had a commitment to work out today and didn't? Okay, yeah, shit, I was up late. Whatever, you came up with whatever reason, I'm gonna make the call. By the way, any retreat in life, any single retreat is a discipline and a commitment to retreat when it matters. So every time you make a decision, you just need to be aware that what are you doing here, okay? There's only 4 things you can do in any given day, right? You could do nothing, you could retreat, or you could do this, average. Now, I know you guys are being told that you're the top. You're the top. You're the best. You made it to Miami. But I'm just gonna tell you right now, ain't not a person in this room is above number 3. No, I'm not there, okay? And I know how much I'm grinding every day, how much I'm pushing every day, how many hours I put into a day. What's the maximum number of hours you can do in a day? Not if you add people. If you added people, you got to think beyond the 24th thing. Once you guys get committed, then you will come up with solutions outside the physical universe. Okay, you're already doing that. Your space is bizarre, okay? Here there's a bunch of people in the room that like, I don't know anything about technology. I'm 61 years old. I was born in 1958. I am supposed to be outside of that moment of technology. Yet I'm probably one of the top 5 social media people in the world today. Banging on Instagram and Snapchat and LinkedIn and Google Plus that'll go away. Using all these mechanisms to try to get attention so that I can operate at this level 10x thing, this massive level that is always changing, by the way. You can't 10x something. People are like, man, I'd write the book. If I wrote the book, I'd write it 11x. I'm like, that's because you don't understand 10x, dude. 10x is a multiplier. It's 10x, which is 100. Okay? So what I did when Lehman collapsed, I wrote the 10x rule. And I wrote the book because I realized I had done something wrong. That book was written for me. And the reason, when I closed the book, the reason I was like, whatever, I had figured out what I had done wrong, okay? I had to embrace the idea that $3 or $4 million in a bank and a house paid for and 2 cars and a marriage, and I got it better than everybody else. And my mama loves me just the way I am, was all this middle class, this American, particularly here in America. How many of you live in America? Okay, in America, the middle class, it is the sleeping chamber on planet Earth. Okay, people come here, they come from India and China, come to here to get a middle class. Dude, I don't want anything to do with this. Okay, you're middle class, you will not change the world. You might change your house. You might change the education your little kids get, okay? They get to go to Texas A&M, big deal, right? He told me that he went to Texas. I said, oh, that had to screw you up bad, just going to college. Why? Because what do they manufacture at college? They manufacture average people at college. So I want to challenge you today, okay? I want to challenge you today to start thinking, hey, wait a minute, am I even a top producer?
It's not about getting the right answer. It's about being able to use the information in the right situation. And so you have to go into a situation knowing something's going to be stable, particularly in an environment where there's a lot of variables. And we live in an environment right now with a lot of variables, with COVID, the mask, the election coming. Who knows? There's a million different things going on out there. You cannot add another variable to that many variables. So the thing that you need to do is you have to be the stable person in an environment where there's a lot of craziness going on. I had so many people tell me, well, it depends on the situation. No, dude, you need to be the same person every time, regardless of the situation. Because if you try to change to that's the problem with this whole adapting thing. If you're gonna adapt to every situation that happens in life, you'll never become anything. Because you'll just be a chameleon 1 second, and then a tiger the next second, and then a kitty cat the next second, and then roadkill the next. You'll just become whatever is going on in the environment, and you'll never become strong, the strong you should be. And this disparity in America, particularly in America and around the world, the disparity between the people that have something and everybody else is getting bigger and bigger. If you don't like the way that is, if you don't like the way that game's working out, you need to improve your skill set so that you can go get yours for you and your family. Because it's out there. I'm just telling you, the opportunity's out there. It's whether you want to open your eyes, be conscious the whole time, go look at it, and figure out how do you get your share of the American dream. You guys that are just getting started, you're not going to start right here. You're going to start down there, okay? Probably in another city, another town. I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, no money, raised by a single mother. I was in debt at 25 years old. The first thing that I had to do in my life was not learn a new skill. First thing I had to do to get my life moving in the right direction was self-development. It is vital, it was vital for me that I improved myself and I could start depending upon me. I had to show up every day with some rituals, some disciplines, and start getting myself to trust me. Not trust others, but trust myself to do the right thing every day. One of the things that I started doing was beating the sun up every morning. I'm gonna beat that sun up every morning so that I have the discipline and the control over my life. So I knew, hey, before that thing pops, I'm gonna pop. I'm gonna get out of bed, depend on myself, get up at the same time every day. And for me, that time, regardless of where I was beat that sun up. No matter where I am, I'm gonna beat that thing up. So it gives me a sense of control over my own life. Second thing, I had to start cleaning up my life and my friends and my environment. When I was younger, between 15 and 25, I was doing crazy stuff in my life. Wasting my weekends. I have the saying, weekends are for the weak. I was drinking, fooling around with a bunch of bad things, bad people, making poor choices. At 25 years old, I cleaned it all up. Quit going to those places, quit using those things, quit hanging out with people that did not have ethics and discipline in their life, that weren't committed to the same things that I was. I wanted to build something in my life. I wanted to become someone, and to do that, to become someone in the eyes of the world, the first thing I had to do was become someone I could depend on. So put some things together, 3 or 4 things you can do every day to start the day, kickstart your day, get going in your day to give you a sense of respect for yourself, accomplishment for yourself. Look, just beating that sun up every morning gives me the sense of accomplishment, that I did what I said I was gonna do, that I woke up when I said I would wake up, and I start building respect for myself, start believing in myself so that I can go out into the world and maybe today when I go into this meeting that I'm dressed for, maybe they'll believe in me as much as I believe in me, and that'll show up in a contract, a deal, maybe even some money. Just because you're great doesn't mean you don't want money. In fact, the greater you are, the more money you're going to want. So if you want great people, I hear companies always talk about, I can't find great people, because you don't pay them anything, man. Right? So like if I offer you $700,000 right now, can you swim?
Yeah.
You any good?
I'm okay.
Yeah. So if I offer you $700,000 right now and say, hey, dude, you got to go swim after that boat and you got to catch it. Like, you're not going to worry about how cold the water is. The water's probably freezing ass cold, right? You're gonna if you're money motivated, okay, you're gonna fly in there. But let's say I put $700,000 out there and say, whoever gets to the boat first.
Exactly. Well, what traits?
Exactly. Would you do it? Would you do it?
Probably. I think anyone in the world would do it.
I don't know.
Unless you're a billionaire and you're like,
yeah, then 700. You're not motivated by 700.
Exactly.
Right.
You'd want more than 700.
Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. But you know what? I know billionaires who would actually be the first people to hit the water.
Exactly.
Because they understand money. They understand, man, it's worth me paying that price to get the 700, because they know what to do with 700. A lot of people are not money motivated because they simply don't know what to do with money. Every time they get it, they actually lose it. There is value in having a partner in your relationships that is not stuck in mechanics, because the mechanics stop people from the dream.
Yeah.
You know, at the new year, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, the resolution stuff. The big mistake that I make in my goal setting is the moment I set a goal, I want to move to how to do it. And when I do that, when I move to the how to, it stops me.
Really?
Yeah, immediately, because I don't have the money to do it. I don't have the time to do it.
I don't live there. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the connections. I don't know how to write a movie, make a movie, get a TV, whatever, right? I want a Netflix deal, okay? I don't know anybody at Netflix. Right. So you move into the mechanics, and the moment you move into the mechanics, you shatter the dream.
The way I lead is I go do stuff.
First I do.
And when I talk about doing stuff, I'm talking about I move the bar. The only thing I look at every day is, did I move the graph up? Mm-hmm. I'm just I love that the symbol of Hercules. I think it was Hercules holding the world.
Yep.
And I imagine if it was a live character, he'd be pushing it up more all the time. That's what when I see a graph, we graph everything. Right. I look at grass and I'm like, I want to go be Hercules. I want to lift it. And that's all my people see me doing every day. Sure. I'm not an organizer. I'm not a planner. I'm not the meeting guy. I'm Hercules.
Constantly moving that bar.
Moving the bar. I'm the one making the points.
Right.
And so I'm like, look, Steve, I'm going to make 40 points today. Put 20 on the board, dog. I don't need you to do, because you can't, Steve. You can't make 40. Okay.
Right.
So me and Ryan, I'm like, Ryan, I'm gonna raise $2 million today. I bet you can't even do half of what I do. Mm. And what happens is, they see my energy is toward activities that get results, not ideas or concepts.
People will listen to 3 or 4 or 5 influencers, 4 of which don't make any money. Like they're more interested in likes and comments than they are a bank account. I'm not interested in the influence. Like I've never considered myself an influencer. I've considered myself a businessman. Mm. So I want to make money. I want my companies to make money. I want the department to make money. I want the division to make money. To the degree that the company, the division, the household is profitable, the country's profitable, it means we're doing good things. Mm. And so when John comes and listens to me, and then listens to another guy says, oh, you need to save your money. And I'm like, you need to use every penny you have to grow your brand. If you got to go into debt to grow your brand, do that. If you got to borrow money to get connections, do that. And this other guy's saying, don't borrow money. Well, the guy's going to do nothing. Little Dave's going to he won't do anything because there's a conflict in his mind. Grant said do it. Dave said don't.
Yeah.
I won't do anything.
So what, the problem of maybe too much information, access too much
information that's conflicting, yeah. So he would be better off. So I got to make it clear, Dave's wrong to my public. Mm-hmm. Dave's wrong, but maybe Dave's right for you. But Dave's wrong for me because I want to expand. Dave's right for you because you want to stay small. Oh, by the way, staying small never works.
People are so uncertain about their decisions. You don't want to give them any evidence to be uncertain.
Yeah.
The presenter's job is to reinforce certainty over and over again. You're doing the right thing. People have made so many mistakes in their decisions that they basically become people that make no decision, which is a decision, by the way.
Right.
No decision is a decision.
Yeah, choosing not to act. That's
and people don't choose to act because they've lost certainty because of previous decisions.
For me, like I was always scared of money, and I was terrified of it. So like if you look at still today, like I look at the bill of everything. It's a bill of everything. If something costs something, I want to know how much it was. Uh-huh. And so like, how much is it? Like I'm going to ask that question, whether it matters or not. It doesn't matter where I get in my life. I don't think I'm ever going to be free of how much was that?
How much was the dinner? How much was
dinner? How much was the tip? How much was the coat? How much was the jacket? What did me and Elena? Like Elena's like, hey, it's going to be fine, man. Like look at what you've done. We cannot spend this. And I'm like, how much was it? I want to know how much it was because when I grew up, you had to know what things cost. Mm-hmm. And so the point your question about money is a terrifying thing because it's the one thing in life that, the NFL is not going to give me the ball. Mm-hmm. And I'm never going to get a chance to golf. I can't win in those environments. But with money, everybody gets money. It's the one place where everybody gets it. And now what do I do? Mm-hmm. And I can lose it now. So it's a terrifying concept, like power. You know, very few of us ever get any kind of influence or power, right? Once you get it, you're like, hey, what do I do with this? You know, am I going to do it? Am I going to do the right things with it? And so I think people withhold themselves because we're not educated about money. We don't know where it comes from. We have a lot of misinformation about it. Our parents terrified us. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. Save your money, it'll save you. All these things our parents told us because they were enamored or encumbered with the same kind of liabilities around money.
Right.
I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to keep it. And the worst part that we're all at is I don't know how to invest it.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is some people get good at getting it. Very few, actually. Fewer people at keeping it, but probably more than getting it. There's probably a big group in America that have learned how to keep money.
Because they're afraid to lose it.
They don't want to invest it. They don't want to use it. They don't want to, Kanye talks about this, how white people save all their money. And they just keep it. They just store it. Like I had an uncle, he buried everything he ever made. It went in the backyard.
Wow.
The other uncle was he was a guy that bought, he worked hard, very, very frugal, Italian descent, and he would buy real estate, but it was always buy low and sell high. He actually never sold anything, but that was the concept, buy low, buy the cheapest, lowest, get everything on a deal. If there's food stamps to be gotten, you go get those food stamps. If there's a government deal, get it. If it's Section 8 and the government will pay you, pay it. So both these guys, different kind of mentalities, were extremely frugal. My other uncle worked in a refinery. He basically saved all his money, paid everything off, got out of debt. That was their lifestyle. My dad died when I was 10. So he paid all his debt off, had everything paid. And so that's all I had, right? Everybody around me was like, get money,
keep it,
don't use it, but you should invest, but nobody ever learns that third one. And so I think we're just a bunch of people walking around terrified of this apparency of it's scarce,
right?
And it's not. And it's not. There's nothing scarce about it.
You will never, ever experience great change in your life unless you're willing to give up something that you have right now. Every single time in my life, I have had to give up something I wanted. I'm not talking about getting rid of the bad stuff. You got to get rid of something that you actually worked for to get. Might have been the house. It might have been, oh, my kids are in the best schools now. It's going to be something painful. For you to get to the next place, you have to give up something that you worked for really, really hard. So I sold my house. One day I had this cognition, hey, to get what you want, you have to give up what you have. That has been true for me throughout my entire life. I had to leave Lake Charles, Louisiana. Went to Houston, had to leave Houston once I got comfortable with my community and my friends. Had to leave San Diego, had to go to LA. LA is a pit compared to La Jolla. Nobody goes from La Jolla, California up to Los Angeles. Nobody does that. You'll leave Kansas City to go to Los Angeles because you want to be an actor. I met Elena within 5 minutes of arriving in LA. I sold my house. I didn't leave it vacant as a backup plan. I left this house, okay? Like I couldn't buy this house today if I wanted to. It was it was a precious little treasure. I had to give that up. By the way, I had to give up being the mayor of my little town. Everybody knew me. There wasn't a restaurant I couldn't walk into. I could always get a seat. I could always get the best seat. I had it right in my hand. This is what I'm telling you guys. You have to be willing to give something up, and the moment you do, you better have your partner on your side. Whoever's in your life, mom, whoever's the big influence, that significant other person in your life that you're gonna consult, that everybody's gonna consult. Every one of you are gonna, hey, what do you think, should I? You better have that person on your side. In my case, I was by myself. So my consultant was like, you gonna do this, dog? I called my buddy, Dale. Dale, you think I should? He's like, you're miserable, bro. You got everything you want and you're miserable. He's like, what do you have to risk? Sold the house, went to Los Angeles, lived in a hotel. I went from a house on the ocean to living in a hotel. The hotel room was probably like, I don't know, maybe the size of this stage. So please, please do whatever you got to do this weekend to figure out whatever you got to do to get rid of whatever is holding you back, most of which is something you worked hard to get.
Okay? Maybe before the weekend's over, you could write down 2 or 3 or 4 things you worked really hard to get that you think you're supposed to keep. You got them already. You got it. You already did that. You don't have to keep it.
You know I'm always keeping it real with you. What has happened to our country that we make our idols and our icons and our heroes rappers and entertainers and ball players, and then we show disgust for a businessman that can bank $50 million a year or $20 million a year? What is wrong? Look, when a guy can go out and make passive investments, great decisions, execute, show tremendous discipline, okay, and disconcert between good investments and bad investments, and then make 20 million or 30 million bucks, pay $3 or $4 million in taxes, $3 or $4 million to his charities, his churches, his community, helps out with groups of people, and we have discontent for the businessman that's out there year after year making great investments, great decisions, showing leadership in the marketplace. Look, that marketplace out there, that economy is the most savage, most difficult playing field in the world to negotiate. Yet, who do we admire in our culture? Rock stars? Look, these guys got great skills. Kid gets out of school, makes $12 million the first year, and we make posters of them and sweatshirts. And you put their kids in their jerseys. But what about the business people that make our economy work, that pay the taxes, that make the schools work, the churches work, that make the fire department, the police department, because they pay taxes, because they're out there making great investments? Look, admire business people that are able to bank year after year. Admire these people, study them, learn from them. Don't be disgusted with them, and turn off anybody that would suggest to you that making money in this country is wrong. Look, don't envy business people. Admire them. Emulate them, learn from them. Particularly these guys are doing it year after year after year, not just on income, but on wealth development, because that's where you need to be. That's where you need to be thinking. That's the economy you want to create for yourself, your family, your household, and your future. You know, this concept of time management has been pushed off on me my entire life. And I have never, ever agreed with it. I'm like, why would I want to manage time? Why would I, what am I going to do? How do you manage time? What do I do? Okay, I'm going to watch these seconds. Dude, I don't want to manage time. I want to produce. I want to be highly productive. I want to squeeze time. I literally want to take time and I want to turn 60 minutes into 3 hours of production. That's the different thing that you need today, not manage time. Now, there are some tricks when managing time, if that's where you want to come from, like Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan and his roommate in college, his roommate's father taught Alan Greenspan a little trick that Alan Greenspan used his whole life. And it was to break up the day into 15-minute blocks. 15 minutes, I have something, and then fill up the next 15 minutes. Now, the reason Alan did that, and I like that concept a lot, is because he didn't want white space on that calendar. He knew white space was a problem because white space, nothing in the 15 minutes, is a waste of time. See, before you start thinking about just managing time, first I want you to do this. Number one, I want you to make a list of things that you're doing every day that is a waste of time. That is the way you create time, not manage it. The first thing I want to do is look at things that I'm doing that are wasteful, those 2 or 3 hours a day that are wasteful moments, things I'm doing on Facebook that just are a waste of time, or maybe a game I'm playing that's a waste of time, or maybe a newspaper I'm reading where I'm not really learning anything. I'm reading about the celebrities. It's a waste of time. Okay, second thing I want you to do is this. I want you to then start thinking about these 15-minute blocks and filling that calendar up. But the third and most important thing I want you to think about is how can you create time? How can you literally take 24 hours and pack more into it so that you can become more productive, so that you can use that urgency concept and really blow up your career, blow up your life, make the most incredible life for your family, for you, for the kids, for your wife, for your husband, and for your clients so that you can take care of yourself materially as well.
People say the dumbest things. It could be family, it could be your wife, your husband, it could be a mom, a dad, an uncle, an aunt, it could be your kids coming from school. People say what they think, and what they think will be what they say, and what they say and think often enough, long enough, reinforced enough, I promise you, will be what they do, okay? So look at some of the dumb things you say, like this. Here's one dumb thing people say. Time heals all things. Really?
You get a splinter in your foot and you don't pull the splinter out. You don't look at it, confront it, and say, I got to pull that little booger out. I got to pull that little splinter out. If you just leave it there, you might get used to it. Yeah, you'll get used to it. 30 years goes by, you still got a splinter in your foot. Who knows, that splinter gets into your bloodstream, goes to your heart, spikes your heart, kills you. Time does not heal all things, folks. You know what heals all things? Taking a look at it. Having the courage to look at it. Hey, what happened to me? How did I screw up here? What hurt or what pain or what happened that I had a loss? I see people go through life with all these losses, unwilling to look at them, all crippled by the time they get older, not old, but they looking old, because they believe that time heals. Look, time heals when you confront it, when you look at it, when you pull the splinter out and take responsibility for it. Don't believe everything you believe. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the ideas you got, they just dumb. And dumb things will cause you to do dumb things.
Everything should be used, right? Everything you're doing should be used for something. You got to assume that you're going to be successful. And if you're going to be successful, you should document it. I promise you're going to look back. Everybody in the room has done this. God, I wish I had pictures from when I was, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Because you were underestimating, this is the 10X rule. You're underestimating your potential to be super successful. Then you're going to get there and say, damn, what was I thinking? You were thinking you weren't going to be successful. And the truth is you are. The organism is going to be successful. If you don't quit, if you refuse to quit, and you refuse to stay where you are, those two things you have to do. Refuse to quit and refuse to stay where you are. You will get here. The organism, you as a 60 trillion cells will figure the way out, okay, somehow, if you don't quit and if you refuse to not be satisfied with this spot right here that you're at, no matter how tempting the spot is. The true wealth on this planet is helping other people. Like if somebody else, how many people you think will hear this interview?
Oh, it will be thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Okay, so maybe if I help 100 people out of 100,000, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I got family members that are going to help 100 people in their whole lifetime. If I can help 100 people today, that'd be freaking crazy. The other 100,000 that didn't get the message, whatever, man. Go do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Like, I don't even know you, right? Like some guy was hating on me the other day. I'm like, bro, I don't even know you. You know me. I don't know you. Okay. Understand the calculation. That's a problem, because who knows me is more important than who likes me. So yeah, what's my exit? I don't know that I have an exit. I think the exit for me is probably the same as everybody else, except I would like to live a couple 100 years after I die. So my game is not the money game. My game, even though I play the money game, my game is, could I help people in the year 2150?
Yeah.
That means I need to write down what I did. I need to put it in books. I've written 21 best-selling business programs. Okay. Those programs should be able to live. Like when we build something, we're like, can this live 50 or 60 years from now? When I was 30 years old, I hated the sales thing. I hated like I'm doing this documentary right now, and Tom Hopkins, I'm participating in it. And he's the guy that I studied, and I studied Brian Tracy, and I studied all these guys. This was back when selling was like, you ask a question, I answer it with a question. There was no transparency. You couldn't shop data anywhere. So everything was slick. It was criminal. It was bordering on criminal all the time. Like, I'm going to put my thumb inside my hand like this, and I'm going to model you and match you. And I hated that. Like, I hated the idea that I had to become someone else every time. So basically what I did was, I tell this story all the time. I was selling fish when I was 19 years old. I mean, if I'm selling fish, I just knock on your door and say, I got fish. That was my pitch. I got fish. I caught the fish. The fish are fresh. And before you say no, look at the fish.
Yeah.
And I sold all my fish.
Nice.
And so I learned how to do things transparent in an industry. This is 30 years ago. Car dealers didn't give you anything. There was no books. There was no Google. There was no TrueCar. There was none of that, right?
Right.
So I figured out how to be more effective
selling with the truth, honesty, transparency, and authenticity. And I took that model and I went out around the country and sold it to a bunch of car dealers that were making money deceiving people.
Yeah.
And so that was a big thing for me. If you took everything away from me right now, the things that are most valuable to me, you can't take away. So you take the plane away, you take the money away, take the real estate the portfolio away. 3 years from now, I'll be bigger than I was, because now I have courage. Like, if you guys can just find your courage, man, and that's a muscle. You got to go build a muscle of courage. I have courage. Nobody can take that away from me. You can't steal it from me. You can't beat it out of me.
You need an accountability partner. You need someone that you share your goals with that will hold you accountable. A strong person, somebody you respect, a mentor, a guide, someone that you don't want to disappoint or let down. Pick someone that you can have with you on your side, that you can share as often as you need to, that your goals are this, your actions need to be that, and you did or didn't handle those things, okay? And have somebody in your life where they'll hold you accountable and say, look, come on, man, you're better than this. Let's go do this. I've been using mentors my entire life. A lot of people don't know this. At the age of 25, I had a mentor that met with me every single day to check on me. Every day. I made commitments every day. That person met with me every day. When I got into a sales game, I was 26, 27 years old. I met with a guy every day to work with me on my sales game. Every day he held me accountable. How many calls I made, how much training I did, every day. I have had accountability coaches and mentors for 37 years.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video, because you are awesome. For 10 more amazing rules from Ed Milet, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Your job is to sell a big enough vision and a big enough dream that the dreams of everybody that's in your stewardship can fit inside the one you're selling. Stop acting like you don't know. Stop acting